Hello everybody! The goal of this course is to reach a whole perspective of the work inspections we must follow in a construction process in order to get the quality in building. That's the content of the course, but today's topic is going to be fixed in horizontal finishing, especially in floorings and pavements. I would like to remind the diamond circle principles and just make the comparison in between the construction states. Plan, do, check, act. Think about the quality plan and the project management before to build up the work site, and check all the units during the construction. If you find any kind of damage or any non-conformity, we have to make the non-conformity report, which document will be joined with a corrective action or a preventive action in order to repair the damage or prevent the repetition of this failure in the future. Right now, let's go to see the ceramic pavements in the exterior areas. First, we have to think about the materials reception, mind about the mandatory certifications from the new construction products regulation and also the notified bodies certification. When we are receiving our materials in our work site, we have to check the documents and also place it in a well site in our work site. Then it's time to start with the preparatory. In the preparatory, we have to check if the basis is well done and everything is completely waterproof and ready just to support the final ceramic tiles pavement. In the execution, we have to start just thinking about, we have a kind of net in the bases, and right now we are covering this surface with this cement mortar. This mortar has to have a special cement in this composition about a waterproof cement, because we are going to cover external areas, external surfaces. So this tile has to be resistant enough to that, and also the mortar and the composition of the materials we are going to fix these tiles with has to be resistant and well prepared for the aggressiveness from the external aggressiveness and the humidity. Then during the execution, after to prepare the bases with this net and also the mortar, we have to cover with this adhesive. This is a special, very flexible white mortar with my white cement in its composition that is kind of glue for the tiles. It's very important just to keep the moisturizing in the tiles, but not wet too much, just the right proportion in between the moisturizing, because if it is too much, the adhesive will be not well fixed, but if it is too less, you can take the moisturizing from the adhesive. Right now it's time to fix each of the tile in the surface and just keep the right position. First, we are going to use these small crosses, plastic crosses, in order to have the right placement of each tile, in order to keep the same weight in all the joints in between each one of the tiles. Then when we are placing this, we have to be careful about the quantity of mortar we have in the bases and check continuously the level and the position in between this tile and the surroundings one, right? So we have to keep all the horizontal position and have the layout and the stakeout of the possible slope of the whole surface of pavement. We are in an external surface, and of course we have to mind and have a rope that they are making the line and the position of our whole slope of the area we are covering with these materials. Right now you can see here how the worker is fixing and placing the crossing, the PVC crosses in the joints between each tile we are fixing in our pavement. In the execution also, we have to be careful about the kind of tools we are using on, and after the whole surface we have to cover the joints with a very elastic mortar. This mortar can have a different color depending on the final design in the project, and also we can put on some pigments in its composition. But finally we have to cover this and remind this mortar has to have very elastic composition. As a final check, we have to check and mind all the position of the tiles, the covering of the joints, and the final cleaning of the surfaces. Everything is fine, is well done. We can give it as a good one and just sign up the checklist as a possible finished unit. When we are fixing the ceramic pavements in the interior, we have a very easy way to do it, because the basis has to be very different, and also we can use a different weight in the mortars we are fixing with our tiles. Let's see by pictures. Right now here in this picture we can see the basis is completely leveled, is well done, is completely horizontal, and now it's time to extend our adhesive. In this case, you can see in the picture we have select a white cement mortar. This is a very thin adhesive with a high level of elasticity that led the fixation of all the ceramic tiles into the horizontal surface. In this picture you can see first we extend the adhesive, the glue, the white mortar. Then we pass this tool in order to create the waves in the surface that we will keep and we will help to the tile to increase the final adherency, and then it's time to fix and place the tile in its right position. Once more you can see how this PVC and plastic crossing are helping us to keep the final position and the right weight of the joint between each floor tile. During the execution also we have to fix the tile with a special very soft tool, which is this kind of matter, and also we have to keep the position, as you can see, in the right joint, no more, no less, and completely parallel in the right position. Remember, in this case, the design are joined, the joints between the floor tiles. I mean, the correspondency between the joint is half piece and a half. In this case, we have to be careful and just place in the right position each of the floor tiles. When everything is finished and is well, you have to check it and just check the horizontal position, the leveling, and also the proportion in between this tile and the surroundings. If everything is fine, after that you have to keep the protection of the joints, extending a very liquid and a very moisturizing elastic mortar with different colors depending on the design, and just check the final horizontal covering, and just if everything is fine, we have time to keep it for the final dry and use this beautiful pavement. In case of using terrazzo or another stone pavements, because the piece is too high, is too big, we have to use a different basis in its construction. Let's see. In the preparatory, first we have to be careful about the basis. If the structure is well done, is finished, and also the distance in between the both slabs, because right now we are going to increase the final depth too much. So in this case we have to check and just be sure the final distance is completely finished, is okay, and it's following the mandatory minimum distance in between both areas. Then we have to cover the surface with this polystyrene slide and this layer that will keep it in the acoustics in the future. And in the covering we are adding this extra very thin sand, this layer of sand that will keep the position of the stone and just help in the basis to the right position. During the execution we have once more to place and just make the stakeout of the position of our stone. Right here you can see the rope, which is keeping the horizontal position and the maximum height we can reach just placing the terrazzo or the stone pieces in our pavement, because we cannot pass this line. This is the limit and this is the level, and we have to keep it and be very careful, because if not we will not follow the mandatory distance in between the both levels of our slabs. Then we can see in this picture we extend the basis of a very thin sand, and after we keep and place the mortar. This mortar doesn't need an extra special cement, but one more has to be stronger enough and cover the whole surface of our stones or terrazzo pieces. In this picture also you can see how the pieces has to be previously wet enough in order to keep the moisturizing of our mortars. Then we place it, and one more, so we have to be careful about the horizontal, the level, and the right position of each piece. In case to use some special stones and we need an extra joint, we can also add these aluminum profiles in the border. Once more, extend the mortar, fix the terrazzo or the stone pavement with two hands and with some extra tools, and fix it with special tools in order to place it in a regular site. In some cases, we have to be careful also with the joining between the pavements and the structure, because we cannot press it and we cannot crash it, because if not, in the future we will have a lot of crash in surroundings. We have to leave dilatant joints in the surroundings of the elements, in facades, partitions, and also, of course, in a structure. If everything is fine, everything is well leveled, it's time to polish. Just cover and protect the final finishing of our pavement, and just enjoy the final check with the stone, terrazzo, all the kind of materials we are using in this pavement. The flooring and the pavement is well done, is well finished, but we also have to check if we need an extra resistance or a kind of security in the using of this, depending on where we are going to place it and the place where we are going to place this terrazzo. If everything is okay, it's time to use and enjoy this building and this unit. Thank you very much for your attention.